Good evening. The Board of Education organizational and regular meeting for the Cedar Rapids Community School District is now called to order at 5:54 p.m. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for Monday, November 17th, 2025?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. At this time, I'd like to have the directors-elect, Drzymski, Zimmerman, and Burns come forward for their oath of office and certificates of election. Perfect. Do you, Scott Drzymski, Laura Zimmerman, and Ashley Burns solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially do the best of your ability discharge the duties of the Office of Director of the Cedar Rapids Community School District in the County of Lynn, State of Iowa, as now or hereafter required by law? If so, please respond by saying, "I will."
I will.
All right. Congratulations. You are official. Director Zimmerman,
Thank you very much.
Director Burns. And the next item on this evening's agenda is the election of a presiding officer of the Board of Education. At this time, I would like to open up nominations for the position of President of the Board of Directors. Are there any nominations?
You go first. I'd like to self-nominate for president.
I would also like to self-nominate for president.
Are there any other nominations? If not, I officially declare the nominations closed. At this time, I'll have each nominated director read their candidate statement. And then directors, after they read, you'll be given the opportunity to ask a question of the candidates before you vote by ballot. Okay? So we can start with Director Byers.
Hello, everyone. There is a lot happening outside of these walls, outside of this room we are all sitting in here tonight. And this board is, quite unfortunately, at the center of many community and even statewide conversations, because a bond that should have easily passed, given the incredible amount of effort and support behind it, came up 1% short. We should have knocked that bond right out of the park. I know because I was on the ground level, witnessing the incredible amount of time, energy, heart, and community-centered work that was poured into the effort. Now, we can certainly celebrate the increase in votes from last go-around, and in the same breath, we need to face the reality of our current situation. We have now lost 2 bond votes. I believe we have a couple options on the table before us. We can blame the loss on varying factors: vouchers, state of economy, lack of support for public education at the state level, and we can push forward and block out the noise. Or we can take a beat, we can take a pause, and we can look inwardly. It's true, we are working against many challenges that are out of our local control, but also at the core of this, we have a trust issue. And despite the hard work and emotional bandwidth we each individually commit to this role as board members, we continue to have a trust issue. So we need to reckon with this, because without trust, we are going to keep butting up against an ever-growing wall, and this isn't in the best interest of our students. I step forward to run for president because I see the bigger picture. If we don't listen, consider, and just move forward as is, we may fall deeper into this hole of mistrust. And I'm not willing to let that happen. I care too much about this district, and I know each of these board members up here and the 3 who just rolled off care just as much as I do. And that's why we're all here, facing these challenges head on, week after week. Right now, I believe we need to acknowledge the lack of trust and move forward with care. Now, I'm not saying this fresh leadership, someone who's only been on the board a couple years and maybe someone who's brand new to our board, will solve all of our problems. But I know with fresh leadership, along with the support of this incredible group of people, we can bring renewed confidence to our district. I walked the halls as a student in our school district from kindergarten through 12th grade. I substitute taught in our district, and now my kids are students here in CRCSD. I show up with integrity, compassion, and a genuine commitment to my role as a member of the school board. I recognize we've entered a whole new chapter of public education, one that requires us to bring new ideas to life in order to remain attractive to families in our community. Progress and innovation matters. It's important, but so does the foundation that supports it. We've seen a surge in the rollout of new curriculum, new instructional models, staffing models, and it's clear to me at this juncture that we've unintentionally stretched our teachers thin. New isn't bad, change isn't bad, but if we are, and we are seeing a lot of great results from some of that new curriculum, but if we are going to prioritize initiatives, we must equally invest in the people who carry them out. I will continue to do all I can to make sure our teachers feel seen, heard, and supported. When our teachers feel supported, when they're in good spirits, and they know we have their backs, our students benefit. And trust is restored. I believe to my very core, that's how we build a stronger, more connected school community. Thank you for your consideration of support.
Thank you, Director Byers. And now Director Newman.
All right. So I submitted my candidate statement for consideration to serve as your president of the Cedar Rapids Community School District Board. Having served since 2019, we've navigated through a period of intense challenges. As Director Roundtree said, it's kind of been nothing but challenges in many ways. The pandemic, the damage, then the delays caused by the derecho, and the loss of our former superintendent, and 2 failed general obligation bonds, the last of which missed by less than 1%. These events, combined with the declining enrollment, the state of Iowa's shift of public funds to private education, have created a landscape of constant flux and uncertainty, and that uncertainty can cause mistrust and strife. Leadership takes accountability. All of us sat back after the loss of the bond and thought, how did this happen? How did we get so close? And the fact of the matter is the buck stops with the board, and it should stop with the board. And we all need to spend time understanding how we get there, because our students and our staff need this, our community needs this. But I don't want to lose sight of the fact that as a district, we've also made a lot of progress over the years. Our implementation of new curriculum is showing results in both student achievement and behavior, and our emphasis on safe and secure learning is strengthening support for our staff and students, though there is a lot of work to be done. Crucially, we also went through right-sizing our staffing post-ESSER funding and prioritizing teacher positions and streamlining our administration. I believe in my heart that miracles happen in our schools every single day, and I say that all the time. Our teachers and our staff are the essential heart of this district. Their unwavering belief in every student's ability to succeed is what fosters those daily miracles in our buildings. Our job as a board is to turn that belief into student success. The next chapter demands a united board focused squarely on this goal, leading with accountability, active listening, and compassion. To achieve this, we must establish trust with our community, commit to transparency and accessibility. And I want to double down on telling our stories of belief and miracles that happen daily in our schools. If trusted to serve as president, I will lead through a model of approachability, shared leadership, effective board governance, collaborative decision-making, ensuring that we tap into each board member's talents, ensuring that we tap into the talents of the, I'm going to say, geniuses who work in our district every day. We have amazing talent right here in our district, and maintain the respectful, open dialogue that we need to provide the clear, results-focused direction this district really needs right now. Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the board for Directors Byers and Newman?
I do. Thank you. So I want to thank both of you for throwing your name out there. Speaking from experience, I know that it does take a lot to step up into the role of president. You are tasked with helping your board move forward, also tasked with responding to the community, and aiding with that transparency, that word that we're hearing a lot of right now. In my journey the last few weeks, as I've approached the end of my term, I've been thinking a lot about board governance. And I know the old board, we did spend time in the past working on board governance with IASB, with Table Group. I feel very strongly that we need a very clear model of board governance and how we function as a board, and that gets communicated to the public so they understand why we do things the way we do things. So my question to both of you is around board governance. What do each of you see as the biggest governance risk for our board right now? And how would you approach that in the future to help the board understand its role and how we work towards the strategic plan? So what do you see as our biggest risk as a governing board? How do we address that? Director Byers, yeah, if you want to go first.
Well, thank you also for your service. You've been, of my years on this board, you've been the president. So thank you for all the time and energy poured into that. And I think it is necessary that we dedicate ample time to this role and find ways to ensure that we make this a primary focus, whether it goes in either direction for us. So, yeah, we've talked a lot about governance. It's come up a lot, and I think the biggest risk is that we have not landed on anything quite yet. We have not taken the time to think through what that shared leadership looks like. I do know we have IASB at our disposal, which is an incredible resource that we can tap into to explore those models, right? To better understand what that means for each of us and what that means for us as a board. So I think taking the time to learn about that together, agree on things that we can prioritize, so it's not just one person's vision of what board governance looks like. I think it needs to be a shared model. From what I've read, there's a lot that exists out there, but again, we need to work from the same grounded space and be on the same page. And as you mentioned, make that visible, come back to it in our meetings, be open about what that looks like and how that plays into our decision making so that we can, again, build that trust. So I think generally speaking, the risk is that we don't have anything. And I would love to take time to explore and find that out together.
Okay, thank you.
So also, thank you for your leadership. It's been wonderful to serve with you, and I really respect the time and energy and thoughtfulness you put into this. So when you think about the risk of not having a strong board governance model, and we used to spend quite a bit of time training on it, and we had a board governance model that had been sort of shaped over the years. We don't really have a current board governance model. We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants right now. We do, but we don't. So, I only learned probably, maybe 6 months ago that there are multiple board governance models out there, and I would like our board to work together to select a model that fits our needs, whether that's a really big singular focus or several focuses. It's how we work together. It will be our norms, our working norms, and it will be sort of our guiding principles of how we work together as a board. The biggest risk is that we don't buy into that model together, and I think that board leadership really has to work to get each board member's input and that we select that model together. But that risk comes from when we disagree, even that's our board model. And when we're not when we're not operating together, it's like having multiple people in a boat with paddles, but somebody's facing the other way, or somebody's just got their paddle in the water and they're holding it still. That's the risk. And I have to say that's sort of been the way we've been in a way without a strong board governance model. So to me, that's one of our first orders of business is reading some really boring books about board governance.
Hey, I found a good one.
The one I started is, I'm going to see if I can get it on tape. But it's really important that we all have ownership in that process, because if we don't, then it kind of opens that up to, well, that wasn't the model I chose, or that's not what I was interested in. So we need to hear all voices, but we have to be rowing together, and board governance is how you do that.
Okay. Thank you both for those thoughtful responses. I appreciate that.
Do any of our other directors have a question they'd like to pose?
I'll ask a quick question. So I haven't worked closely with either of you in a capacity, at least such as this, but I just wanted to kind of touch base on just your leadership styles, how you would define your leadership style, and how you think that might collectively help unify or move this board forward, especially with the transparency and need for better communication. I just wanted to get a sense of what your thoughts are on that.
I will try not to bring up Junior League too many times, but I was on the receiving end of a lot of wonderful leadership training during my leadership era in Junior League, and how that helped me as a leader to define my own style was to build that shared leadership, to be extremely accountable and open, and to be focused. It is really easy when you have a district our size, or when you are working with a group of people, to chase after shiny objects, to get distracted. We need to pick a few things, and we need to get them done. We need to ensure that we are notching some wins for this district, and we need to show this community what we are capable of, and that takes focus. Oh.
Thanks, Kyle.
Open meeting. We have to have that.
Yeah, I think just as a person, I'm someone who shows up. I listen to all of the voices in the room, and then we can respond. I think right now things are very reactionary, and we need to listen. We need to pause. We need to consider different vantage points so we can better understand what's not just best for our board, but what's best for our teachers, our students, our community. So that purposeful leadership. I'm also someone who shows up. I spend a lot of time with teachers in schools, listening, gathering information so that we can do right by students and teachers alike. That's why we're here. And I know that this isn't an easy task. I've seen the challenges ahead of us, but I stepped up because I felt there was a need for maybe to refresh a bit. And we've tried a lot of different things, and I think now if we can come together and really listen, really truly collaborate, I think we're going to be really effective. I feel good about this group of people, and I know that we have some major challenges ahead, but we can't do that without listening and without considering what everyone brings to the table.
Thank you.
Other questions for Director Byers and Director Newman?
I'll just ask one. First of all, you're not making this easy on any of us. Appreciate you both stepping up and being willing to do this. I guess I'm interested in, I'm going to go to something that you'll hear a lot from me sitting up here over the next 4 years is the communication, and how do we communicate that things well to the community, whether they're things that the community's excited to hear, upset to hear, but give that rationale and that background. So would you just share briefly some of your thoughts on what we can do to improve that communication link with our community, with our parents, but also with our educators and staff in the district as well?
Your turn.
Sure. Thanks for these questions, guys. I think that we we just aren't very visible right now. We have this model where the president kind of speaks on behalf of the board. I understand that that's important, but I'd love to have a space for all of us to engage in different ways. We all bring different strengths to the table. I think that the community would love to hear from each of us in different capacities, whether that's at a groundbreaking and someone speaking, or if that's a media interview. I think that it's really imperative, pretty vital, that we all are represented and that we all are in this together, but we are different people. We have differing opinions, and sometimes we don't all agree. So when we keep saying united, I really see that as being transparent, discussing, when something comes to the table, we need to discuss the why and share that with the public. And then it's okay if we disagree. It's okay. We need healthy conflict because that's the only way we're going to move forward. As long as we can keep a level of respect for each other, these aren't easy decisions, and we do have differing opinions, and that's okay. We need to share that with the public, so it doesn't always just look like we are completely united on every single topic. That's not a reality. I'm not even sure what your initial question was, but hopefully I've covered a bit of it in that.
So that's a great question. So coming from a couple different places, first of all, revisiting that board policy, and we have been revisiting this board policy and talking about it. As long as board members, the board speaks for the board when the board's made a decision, right? Individual board members have opinions. Individual board members absolutely should be able to speak to the media as long as they share I'm representing myself. And I think that's really important. I also just think we have all these different areas of expertise on the board, and there might be some board members who are more well-suited to be involved with and speak in those occasions. But communications is far broader than just how the board speaks to the community. I'm really proud of the work that the communications department has embarked on in the last probably 6 months, to build a system of consistency and clarity across our district. And they're really focusing inward kind of on our staff and our families before we take this more outward to the community. But the board is we're one of the most visible ways to speak to the community, and I do think it's important we have that voice. But we need to continue on this path of very consistent and clear communications, and as that improves and as we can show progress with that, just the fact that we have the days of the week that you can expect the newsletter, we have protocols in place for when something happens, how that gets communicated, has been a really big change. We need a little bit more time for that to get its legs under it, but we need to keep working and never take our foot off the gas in that case. And then I said it earlier in my candidate statement, we have to tell the stories of the miracles that happen in our schools every day. Those stories are out there. I think we have some excellent media partners in this community who are willing to tell those stories, and I feel like they also treat us fairly when there's something that's not so fun to cover. But continue to keep the drumbeat of those stories, because those stories are about our kids, right? And nothing's better than telling the stories about our kids.
I have one more thing I want to toss in because I just dove right in. Those who have worked with me know I ask a lot of questions, and I take a lot of notes. So you guys will find that out. And I just wanted to mention part of that transparency to me means continuing to ask questions. We have new people, new insight, and I can guarantee you that the questions that we have are the same questions that the public has. So we need to make sure that we are asking those questions and communicating that, because otherwise the public is confused, and that never works. So I just wanted to also just mention, we're all capable, we're all adults, we can all learn. However this goes, I really have faith in this board. And I think that, making some time and carving out space in our meetings to just reiterate asking questions, being transparent, and bringing up those sometimes really challenging conversations and having those at the table is key.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Other questions?
If I can, I'd like to ask a question. First of all, to acknowledge that how lucky are we that the two choices before us are both of you. I'm really looking forward to the leadership and just to work with this entire board together. Cindy, I'm sure you can attest the amount of time it takes in a president role. I don't know if you consider it fortunate to be retired to be in this role, but we're all volunteers, and so want to acknowledge that you both have full-time jobs, and so if you can maybe talk to how will you make the time to prioritize this board and the work that we have to do. There are some times where issues come up and they do demand immediate attention. So just want to hear from both of you how you will address the amount of time it likely takes, which is probably more time than you think.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for your kind words. I think when it comes to how to make time for this, it comes down to focus, prioritization, and being really organized about it. And I think if we can get into routines of communication as a board, because this is not an easy or non-time consuming job for any of you up here. And I think with the when we added the core committees and some of these additional responsibilities, I will say this is a more intense job than it was when I started in 2019. And not just because of all the events that have happened. I mean, Dr. Grover has done a great job of providing opportunities for her board to be more involved. And that does take time. My staff is pretty used to seeing things on my calendar and knows to ask if it's something they can schedule over or not. But being very intentional and deliberate about how we spend our time, maximizing that time, being really efficient with our meetings while still having the time to devote to the questions and the conversations around it will be key. Setting that intention and being very respectful of time while making sure that we give it the time it needs.
As it stands, there's probably no way I could do this role as a mother, as a full-time employee, and as a board member. So I had a nice walk with my husband the other day to get a sense of how we would make that work. I intend to pour my whole self into this. I think that we're at a juncture where that is, it's important to do that. Publicly saying that I'm considering scaling back on the work front to accommodate for the amount of time, energy, and emotional bandwidth this requires.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. All right. I am going to pass out the ballots. There are two things. You need to sign your name at the top and then select, and I will come back and pick them up as soon as you're done.
Kind of appreciated it, yeah.
Thank you.
This is official. Jillian, this is official signature, right? We're not just like, yeah. You've seen the scribble before. Yeah, all right. As long as she knows what she's asking for. Yeah. I'm just going to put it.
Did we pass them down?
Oh, I'll pick them up.
Okay.
After I read the ballots, I'll be thrilled to turn the meeting over to our newly elected president. I believe this says Director Byers voted for Director Byers. And Director Newman voted for Director Newman. Director Drzymski voted for Director Byers. Director Garlock for Director Newman. Director Zimmerman for Director Byers. Director Tominski for Director Newman. And Director Burns for Director Newman. So congratulations, Director Newman. You have been elected to serve as President of the Cedar Rapids Board of Education, and now you get to come forward for the oath of office. Yay. And we could clap. We can I believe you do. Yes, you do. Do you, Director Newman, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially, to the best of your ability, discharge the duties of the office of President of the Board of Directors of the Cedar Rapids Community School District in the County of Lynn, State of Iowa, as now or hereafter required by law? If so, please respond by saying, I will.
I will.
Congratulations. And then you'll be able to say.
Do we move right now? We move? Okay. Let me, you're up. Grab my notebook. I'll leave all my garbage down here. This way. You can get over here. Are you on the edge? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving right into the agenda.
Yes.
All right, it's going to be awkward, guys. Hang in there with me.
You're going to do great.
All right, election of the vice president. The next item on the evening's agenda is the election of the presiding officer. Presiding officer of the Board of Education. Sorry. At this time, I would like to open nominations for the position of vice president of the Board of Directors.
President Newman, I'll self-nominate for the Vice President of the Cedar Rapids Community School District School Board. I believe deeply in the power of public education and how it can give all students a chance to achieve great things in the classroom, in co-curricular activities, in extracurricular opportunities, and long after graduation. This is the kind of opportunity that strengthens our community and rewrites legacies for families. Along with being a district parent, I've also served as a trustee and chair of the Cedar Rapids Community School Foundation and led the advisory board for the Salvation Army of Lynn County. Those roles have allowed me to build relationships across the community, specifically with the foundation with teachers, fellow parents, administrators, and community partners. For me, the end goal has always been the same: to help students in the Cedar Rapids School District succeed. If given the opportunity to serve as vice president, I would bring the same approach used throughout my professional and volunteer career: collaboration, organization, and a strong focus on communication and accountability. I recognize that leadership on this board means ensuring meetings are effective, decisions are transparent, and every voice is heard. And in times of disagreement, I believe good leadership means listening first and finding common ground that moves us forward. One of the things that I've been learning and trying to implement is to be quick to listen and slow to speak. My own family's experience in the district, from elementary through graduation, has grown my appreciation of our educators and the opportunities that they create. I also know we face real challenges: student achievement, staff retention, and building the trust from our community. Meeting those challenges will take teamwork, clear communication, and a shared commitment to what's best for students and families. If the board chooses me for this role, I'd appreciate the opportunity to serve and support all board members, help maintain well-organized and respectful meetings, and strengthen our connection with the community through clear and consistent communication. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Okay. If not, I officially declare nominations closed. Do we do ballots for this?
We do not need to do ballots. We'll do a motion and a second roll call.
Okay. With one nomination, you already read your candidate statement. We'll proceed with that motion. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say
We
nay.
need to do roll call. I'm sorry.
Roll
Yep,
call?
Yep.
Okay.
You're good. Director Tominski?
Aye.
Director Burns? Aye. Director Zimmerman?
Aye.
Director Drzymski?
Aye.
Director Byers?
Aye.
Director Garlock?
Aye.
President Newman.
Aye. All right. Congratulations, Director Drzymski. You've been elected to serve as the Vice President of the Cedar Rapids Board of Education. Please come forward for the oath of office.
It's twice in one night. There you go. Do you, Director Drzymski, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially do your best of your ability, discharge the duties of the office of Vice President of the Board of Directors of the Cedar Rapids Community School District in the County of Lynn, State of Iowa, as now or hereafter required by law? If so, please respond by saying, I will.
I will.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and welcome Vice President Drzymski. So, all right. Okay. The last item under board governance is the conflict of interest statement. There is a copy located in each of the director's seat. Please be sure to fill this out and have it returned to Board Secretary Schulte for record keeping. With that, we would like to take a moment to recognize and honor the life of a CRCSD employee, Mary Smith. I would like to invite Carla Hogan to speak. Afterward, we will observe a brief moment of silence.
Mary Lillian Peter Smith, 81, of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, formerly of Clinton, passed away at Mercy Hospital, Cedar Rapids on Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. Mary was born March 5th, 1941 in Memphis, Tennessee. She was the daughter of Houston and Lena Mae Ballard Burns, or Peters. Lillian was united in marriage to Leroy Smith. He passed away in 2016. She attended Bethel AME Church and the Greater True Love Church in Clinton. Mary worked as a food service assistant in Cedar Rapids Community School District at McKinley Middle School for 6 years and was loved by the staff and students. She served several community organizations in Clinton. She was loved by her community and was considered to be the neighborhood grandma. Mary loved helping others. She enjoyed thrift shopping, bingo, going fishing, and loved cooking for everyone. She also loved to dance and interior decorating. Above all, she loved her children very much and will be incredibly missed by family and friends. Mary is survived by 2 daughters, Beverly Brown of Red Oak, Texas, and Patricia Peters of Memphis, Tennessee. She had 9 grandchildren and 10 great-great-grandchildren, 1 sister and 3 brothers, and many nieces and nephews, cousins, and friends. Mary's dedication to serving students each day was a reflection of her caring spirit and commitment to her community. She will be missed by her coworkers, students, and all who had the pleasure of knowing her.
Thank you. I am sure her loss will be felt by everybody for a long time. Thank you for sharing. Next, we will pass the meeting to our area chiefs for student highlights.
All right, tonight we are proud to recognize 4th grader Devarius Jones from Hiawatha Elementary for the incredible growth he has demonstrated since joining Hiawatha. When Devarius first came to us, school was not always a place where he felt successful or connected. Over the past 2 years, however, he has shown remarkable perseverance and maturity. His absences have decreased by more than 85%. He has maintained a strong record of positive behavior. and his reading scores have increased by an impressive 280%. Devarius now spends his days fully engaged in the general education classroom, setting an inspiring example of hard work, resilience, and personal growth. We are so proud of the student and the young man that he is becoming. So congratulations, Devarius.
And clearly a great role model to your little brother.
I have the honor to represent Miss Cora Clark, fifth grader from Grantwood Elementary. Cora exemplifies what it means to exhibit Griffin greatness. As a fifth grader, she is an accomplished student who performs at high levels across all subject areas. While we're all very proud of her academic achievements so far, that only tells part of her story. It's Cora's daily, purposeful actions that stand out in school, full of wonderfully talented and creative students. Simply put, Cora does not take days off. She puts forth tremendous effort and care to her personal best every single day. Her admirable determination and resilience will serve her well in future years and in whatever career path she chooses. Cora is one of the most thoughtful students you'll ever meet. She takes time to treat all students with respect, consideration, and kindness. She's patient and understanding and is both a willing contributor and an attentive listener. She is the kind of person every kid is thrilled to collaborate with. Congratulations to Cora. We're proud to call you a Grantwood Griffin.
Jack's not here, right? Feel like I've okay. Just want to make sure. All right. Jack Beyer embodies the ideal Taft Tiger and what they represent as a school. He is someone who is always looking out for others. He has such a motivating and warm nature, making everyone want to be around him. Jack always has a positive impact and has a friendly demeanor, and wide smile is just an added bonus. Lastly, Jack has figured out all the world needs is more kindness and positivity.
Thank you. Congratulations to Devarius, Cora, and Jack. That is what I'm talking about, you guys. Those are the stories we love to hear. So thank you so much. Tonight, Director Cindy Garlock will be providing our staff highlight.
Sure.
Before we do that, can we get our
we wanna
picture?
do the
Because
photo?
our students have been waiting so patiently,
Okay.
and so we'll do that
We're not
picture
gonna
quick.
make them wait long.
Yes, thank you.
Just to get us the same shot.
Yeah, that's fine. Great. Come on. Come here.
Yeah, principal's up, right? Come on up, yeah.
No, one more. I'm gonna get next to the kid.
Thank you again, and thanks to Devarius, Cora, and Jack. And thank you also to your parents. You are doing an awesome job. All All right, now Director Cindy Garlock will provide the staff highlight.
Okay, I am ready for the staff highlight. Tonight, our CRCSD staff highlight, the Board of Education would like to highlight Molly Lamb Hughes, whose dedication and leadership are invaluable to the team at Polk. Molly is an amazing advocate for both staff and students. Her colleagues consistently highlight her exceptional ability to listen, to understand, and her genuine care for her team. She fosters a supportive environment where everyone feels heard and valued. We particularly appreciate Molly's unflappable nature and her ability to navigate complex situations with grace and effectiveness. She is the person who is able to pull everyone together to develop a cohesive plan, even when things go other than planned. This showcases her critical strengths. She is a courageous communicator. She isn't afraid to have the hard conversations necessary to move the team forward. She is a strategic thinker. Her ability to think on her feet and pivot when needed ensures that the team can adapt quickly and maintain focus on student success. We're incredibly grateful for everything Molly does for the team at Polk. Thank you, Molly, for your commitment to excellence, your leadership and advocacy, and your steadfast support of our school community. On behalf of the board, thank you for your dedication, your care, and the excellence you bring to your work. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
Thank you. And Molly had the Newman girls at McKinley, so shout out. So
I also had Molly. Her name was Mrs. Lamb, though. That was not Molly.
Did we all?
So-
How many?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I
thank
think you
you
had
for-
both the boys. Yeah. That's nicely done.
all right. Thank you. Moving on, we will hear from those who have requested to address the board. Board Secretary Schulte, do we have any requests this evening?
We do not.
Holy cow. Okay. All right. Then we will move on to Dr. Grover, and she will share her superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Newman. Congratulations, Molly, as well. And I do want to take a point of privilege to say thank you to our outgoing board members, as well as welcome to our new board of directors. I look forward to working with you. And congratulations to all of our students out there. Tonight, I'd like to start my report again focusing in on our 4 key priorities. Just to kind of level set here, our 4 priorities are to ensure that our schools are safe, that our students are prepared for life, that our parents and our staff members are partners in this work, and that we're physically responsible. As we turn our attention to priority area number 1, safe and secure, we know we have some key progress indicators that we've been monitoring throughout the school year as we continue to provide support for behaviors concerns within our school district. So our targeted strategies, which focus heavily on proactive behavioral supports, de-escalation training, and restorative practices, have resulted in a clear downward trend across all key safety indicators. We are reporting a 4% decrease in major office referrals and a substantial 10% reduction in the incidence of physical aggression, demonstrating that our building level supports are successfully intervening and teaching students vital self-regulation and conflict resolution skills. Most notably, the use of physical restraints has plummeted by a dramatic 58%. This significant reduction is a powerful indicator that our trauma-informed approach and robust behavioral support plans are effectively minimizing the needs for physical intervention and creating a safer, more supportive environment for every student. While these numbers are encouraging, we will continue to focus on sustaining this momentum by reinforcing staff training. As I visit with the teachers, there's still a need for us to ensure that while we have rolled out our discipline matrix, number 1, we're still looking to refine at the elementary school where some more clarity is needed and overall consistency across the district. With the continued support of our teachers, we will continue to ensure that our schools remain secure spaces for learning for all of our students. Progress underway with more work and attention needed. Priority area number 2, prepare for life. This year, with the rollout of our preparation year, a pilot year of our Freshman Academy seminar classes, almost 3 months into school, we wanted to provide an update to the board so we understand how our Freshman Academy seminar classes are impacting our students. So it is definitely powerful to see the impact of the Freshman Academy seminar courses. The Freshman Academy seminars, which were offered as an optional choice this school year, are demonstrating a significant positive impact on our 9th grade students. I'd like to also give a special shout out to our teachers who work within the Freshman Academy and the Freshman Seminar classes. These are grassroots efforts here where our staff members work together to develop the curriculum and the courses outlined. I think that's critical to note that our very own teachers are kind of leading the way. Of course, they made some adjustments and had to do some fine tuning, but I definitely appreciate their spirit. Now let's talk about the impact of their work. As we look at an analysis of the preliminary data, it shows that students who are enrolled in the seminar classes are performing better than their non-enrolled peers across 3 critical measures that we keep on our dashboard. When it comes to our core credit attainment, seminar students are doing better in the required core credits. There is a 5.39% more core credits earned by students who are enrolled in the freshman seminar class. The next KPI that key progress indicator that we are monitoring is around the total credits that are earned by students. When we look at this particular area, 9.5% more of our students are earning more total credits if they are enrolled in the freshman seminar class. Another key area for us is attendance. We do believe that our students, they must attend and be engaged in learning. So a focus on attendance, and our students who are enrolled in the freshman seminar class, their attendance rate is 10% better than those students that are not. Again, we give all full credit for our teachers who have rallied around the development and the support for the Freshman Academy seminar. Again, this is an optional course this year. More discussions underway as we prepare for next year. Priority area number 3, partners. One of the ways that we continue to engage our key stakeholders in being partners with us is through the development of our superintendent cabinets. These are groups of individuals across our students, our teachers, and our community that I developed when I entered the school district here. So I want to talk a little bit about the report out from these key stakeholder groups. Our student cabinet, we met this month, and our students were engaged in very candid and productive discussion focused on the critical issue of vaping in their schools. They raised key concerns and also produced thoughts around how we could improve the issue. I really appreciate their insights. As a significant outcome of this meeting, there was a discussion and a formation of a separate task force of students willing to provide ongoing and in-depth input and partnership on addressing this challenge. Chad Schumacher, as well as Riles Parker and folks from our safety team, they were there to take in all of the information and will be key partners with our students as they navigate. I really do want to elevate the student voice and their leadership in making their schools safe as well. Also, another key action of our student cabinet was around our student board representative. And so they're probably new to our new folks, so we do have a student board rep. And thank you for being wonderful role models. They also had to make a candidate statement. So I do want to say a great job to 2 of our students, Jasper Garcia, he's a student over at City View High School, and Katie Hubbs, she is a student at Kennedy High School, and Katie will be our student board rep, and we look forward to introducing her and onboarding her as a new student board representative. We also met with our community cabinet. This group focused really on reflecting on the recent bond outcome. The community cabinet is made up of several different key stakeholders from across our community, from nonprofit to city to business, just a vast, diverse group of folks, business owners, et cetera. And so just to set that stage for us too, as we reflected on the bond outcome, we, as a community cabinet, they really did feel that there was great momentum that was gained by moving from 39% to 59.3%. And I guess that's a pause commercial break opportunity for me to say thank you to our community. Although we did come up short, and as our board of directors mentioned here tonight, we know we want to understand more about that, and we want to make sure that we're taking the necessary steps to get what we need for our students. But we have seen an increase of support across our community. Many folks across this dais that was involved in that effort. So thank you so much. Coming out of that community cabinet, it was established that we need to rally more people around the conversation as we think about the next strategic plan. What role can the community play in developing that strategic plan, and more information, discussion with the board as we move forward. Our last key stakeholder group here would be our teacher cabinet. Our teacher cabinet, they shared their opinions around home-based learning, as well as the shortages that we see within our district in terms of home-based learning. They were able to provide some key feedback to our leaders that's working on that project. We've seen a lot of feedback within the change management, but we wanted to give voice through that group. And I think I heard today, even in our core committee, a number of the changes that they asked for would be coming forward for home-based learning. So we took time to listen to their concerns, and I think we're going to come up with a solution. I think overall, they agreed that yes, we should do home-based learning. They want to make sure that we have reasonable expectations for staff as well as students. These cabinet meetings are vital to gathering diverse perspectives. I'm committed to it, and I do appreciate all the folks that help serve on those committees. And then finally, priority area number 4, fiscally responsible. Last week, we did put out a statement in regards to our enrollment numbers. Again, that was a key topic here addressed by our board of directors. I look forward to working with our board of directors as we think about how we move forward in being fiscally responsible. We know that there are a lot of tough decisions that are being made, but as well as a lot of opportunities. And so what can our community expect from us next? I think it really does go to what our community cabinet has already teased out for us in terms of really facing our realities, landed all on the table. We started a discussion by engaging our school district leaders to really take a look at their numbers and asking them to come to the table to really think about how we move forward. We do look forward to working alongside the board to really think through how we create a strategic plan and a community coalition. We firmly believe that this should be led by the board as well as our community, and bringing along parents, educators, community partners, working alongside all of us to co-design a multi-year plan. When it comes to there's no one single action. We know that we're facing needs in terms of our facilities, our staffing, our student needs, and we have dreams and hopes in this school district. We know you mentioned about extracurricular activities, academic achievement, all of those things. We want to make sure that we're retaining our staff. So we have to look at the resources that we have as well as the opportunity to engage with our families, asking the right questions and design a strategic plan that meets those needs. And we continue to think through how we might launch a unified enrollment campaign because we want our families to know that they have a place here in Cedar Rapids Community School District, and what does that look like for them. And we're asking all of us to continue to advocate for continued work at the state and federal levels to secure funding that truly meets the needs of public education. Thank you for the opportunity tonight to provide my report, and that concludes the matter.
Thank you, Dr. Grover. Moving on to our consent agenda, are there any items on which a director has a comment, question, or further discussion?
Do you want to? I think we have other board reports.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
All right. Told you this is going to be awkward, guys. Do we have any directors who have board reports this evening?
Yeah, I have a core committee report. HR shared updates on staffing, leadership development, and our educator pipeline. We continue to make progress filling vacancies across elementary and special education, and we are actively working through the remaining openings. We are also working toward a strong teacher pipeline. This fall, we placed 37 student teachers with a 100% fill rate, and 43 spring requests have been confirmed. All good things to celebrate. We've supported staff through 19 just-in-time teacher interventions and 2 prepared professionals so far this year. Big shout out to all those cooperating teachers and buildings that have supported the increase in requests. Our Principal Pathway Kickoff event took place on November 5th with 25 employees enrolled in the newly approved Leadership Credit Course. It was really great to see the room so full, and we even got burgers. They were very good. Red Robin, thank you. Educators Rising positions have been posted at Kennedy and Jefferson. This is our pathway for our own students to learn about education careers. Looking ahead, the fall hiring fair on November 18th will offer on-site interviews for student teachers and other candidates. All colleges and universities are invited to participate, and the core board will not meet in December, but will reconvene in January. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other board reports? Okay. All right. Now we can move on, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any items on our consent agenda which a director has a comment, question, or further discussion on?
President Newman?
Yes.
I would like to just make a comment on item number 19. It's the agreement with Hazel Health. I just want to call attention to this standing agreement that we've had with Hazel Health to provide mental health services to our students. I know this board has identified mental health as a priority for the last few years, basically post-COVID. We are extending that agreement at absolutely no cost to the district for another 6 months. So this is really an example of a great partnership that we have with a community organization that benefits our students. And in this time of tight budgets, we appreciate those cooperative agreements. So just wanted to call that out for the community.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments?
President Newman, I just wanted to ask a couple questions on the change orders, which are item number 20 through 33, just for clarification. And I've asked these previously and gotten some good information, which I absolutely appreciate. I just wanted to make sure that it was public. When you see a large number of change orders show up, I think we automatically go to the mindset of, oh my goodness, what happened to the price here? And so I just wanted to highlight a couple of these. And Mr. Schumacher, I may ask you to make sure. I put together my own spreadsheet. And what it looks like is that.
So that's how it's going to be.
That's how it's going to be. I apologize in advance for the next 4 years. Yes. For Jefferson, the change order is actually calculated up to a reduction in cost of about $61,500. Got that right? Okay. The Washington change orders were about $64,000 raised. So nets out to about $2,500 on these two projects. Am I getting that right? Okay. And then you provided additional information I think is important. So this is one set of change orders. There's been one other set previously that was a reduction by $20,000. So my immediate concerns of look at all the change orders on this agenda that we're going to approve were evaporated to a certain extent when I realized that we've actually done change orders that reduce the cost by $17,733. Can I ask one quick question on that? Just can you kind of walk through real quick for us? Some of these are like changes to metal and things like that. Can you just real quick, kind of why do we see these pop up in projects? Because I think people don't always understand, how this happens and that in construction.
So there's kind of three categories for change orders: errors and omissions from the drawings, owner request, or field conditions that were unknown at the time. So depending on which of these you would take a look at, a lot of these are things that came about either through things that we didn't know. Once we got into soils, we realized we needed some more supports, steel, rebar for concrete. The city reviews our drawings after we actually approve the drawings to go out to bid. So once the city reviews them, there are things that they come back and say we need some changes on those things as well. So there's some of these change orders that are driven by the city review on our drawings. There were some that I can say proudly that we asked for owner request. Those are the credits. We looked for ways that we could save some money. And so we were able to do that through changing precast finishes, and other things of that nature to try to make sure that we're value engineering as we go. So we're definitely doing that in all of our construction projects as well. So the three things are errors and omissions, owner request, and then just unforeseen things on the job site. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yes, it does. Thank you.
Yep.
Are we using value engineering on these projects then? Is that what we're doing with the construction firm?
Yeah, so, excuse me. So as we go through each of the projects, this is the College and Career Readiness and Freshman Academies, the two elementaries as well as Harrison. We continue to value engineer as we go through and try to look at things that we can save on. And so as we go out to bid and we get our bids back, depending on if we're a high or low, we always look at things that we can try to value engineer. So having a construction firm on board through that process has been helpful because they are able to see things that maybe an architect, not that they can't see that, but just having another set of eyes is very helpful for us to have that on board for sure.
And one more newbie question, if that's okay. That's Larson, correct? And were they selected through an RFP process? How does that work with them?
Specifically for the College and Career and Freshman Academy process, they are construction managers as agents, and that was through an RFP process. We interviewed 3 different firms, and then through that process, we had board members on that interview committee, as well as community members and other administrative people from the district. We went through and scored them based on the matrix and scoring. Then we selected Larson Construction out of a pool of 3 contracting firms.
Excellent. And again, I appreciate that, and I just want to make sure that I'm learning, and I think the questions I'm seeing when I look at the agenda, I think are probably what everybody else is seeing as well. So I guess that's a warning for you for the future. I'll probably be asking more questions. And before you sit down, number 38, which is the demolition of structures at Talkie Lane, I assume that's just to clear the property or limit liability. Could you go into detail on what that is?
So as a condition of purchasing that property, the DNR required us to take down any structures that were not going to be used. And so the house and the barns on that property are not being used. We're required by the DNR to take those down and make it into green space again. The other part of that is to cap off any wells and remove any septic tanks as well. So basically to take away anything that would cause that property to not be eco-friendly at this time. So there is no intention of doing anything more than just removing the structures on that property and removing the wells and the septic tanks per the DNR requirements.
Thank you. Appreciate the clarity on that. Thank you, President Newman. Nice job.
B+. All right. Do we have any other questions, comments, or discussion?
Sure. While we're on the topic of saving money, I just want to point out item number 10 on the consent agenda. I think we had a savings of $284,000 on the portables at Madison. So I appreciate the work that Chad and his team do to be cost conscious and control the budget as much as possible and still provide learning environments for our students. So just wanted to call that out. Thank you. I'll be quiet now.
I would just like to make my own comment on item number 36, the approval on the core diploma graduation pathway. This is a really important pathway that we are putting in place for students who face significant life challenges that may impact their ability to graduate. This is our commitment to helping students get across that stage, and it allows them to graduate from their school. Right, which I think is really important to a lot of kids. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I'm really proud that that's on there. I almost wish it was a separate vote, but it doesn't need to be. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Are there any directors on which a director requires an item to be pulled from the consent agenda for a separate vote? Okay. And hearing none, are there any direct items on which a director needs to abstain? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
This is a roll call vote due to the personnel report.
Director Tominski?
Aye.
Director Burns?
Aye.
Director Zimmerman?
Aye.
Director Drzymski.
Aye.
Director Byers.
Aye.
Director Garlock.
Aye.
President Newman.
Aye. All right, thank you. Let's see. Our last item tonight is a presentation of the fiscal year 2025 financial highlights, and I will turn the meeting over to Carla Hogan.
Good evening, Board of Directors. Tonight, you'll hear our FY25 financial highlights. So, our financial overview. Our total revenue for FY25 was $328 million, compared to $339 million in FY24. Our total expenses were $334 million, compared to $328 in FY24. This was an increase. The general fund revenue breakdown, we received nearly $83 million in state funding, $19 million in federal funding, and we had $15 million of SAVE revenue that came from the bonds that we issued during the year for the Washington and Jefferson CCR projects. A more detailed review of each specific fund will follow later in the presentation. This is our general fund summary. The general fund recorded a $9.5 million deficit in FY25. This deficit occurred in part because the district used ESSER funds in FY24 to cover certain allocated expenses and increase our categorical fund balances. Also, in the spring of 2025, our re-estimated budget had projected a deficit of $8.8 million, which is largely in line with the final result. This was due to the enrollment impact from our 2024 fall count. The district's enrollment declined by 336 students. This includes 275.2 additional open enrolled out students, and there were also 43 fewer open enrolled in students. The net change in enrollment was 318 students just from open enrollment, which increased the deficit by approximately $2.6 million. I will provide a detailed breakdown of the components contributing to this deficit later in the presentation. These are our general fund expenditure percentages. Our salaries in the blue represent $146 million, or 61% of our general fund. And benefits total $42 million, 17% of our general fund. Together, they account for 78% of our general fund expenditures. The next largest category is other purchase services at $22 million, or 9%. Our general fund historical summary shows the comparison of actual revenue and expenditures for FY 2021 to FY 25. But before we talk about FY 21 to 2025, we need to look at the prior years. Before COVID, the district ran deficits of $1 million in FY 19 and $4 million in FY 20. Then we received ESSER funding, and that was used in FY 21 through FY 24 to generate surpluses. In FY 25, we recorded a $9.5 million deficit using our prior surpluses to help us bridge our finances to FY 26, where the district made significant reductions. We currently have a fund balance of nearly $36 million, which represents approximately 1.8 months of operating revenue. This reserve allows us to cover expenses during the summer months when we do not receive state aid, but must continue paying salaries, benefits, and other costs. So as I previously stated, we had changes in our general fund categorical balances, and so this slide highlights year-over-year changes across key categorical funds. The most significant shifts include teacher leadership, which decreased by $259,000. Homeschooling was deficit spent by $88,000. Early intervention had deficit spending of $206,000. Teacher quality professional development decreased by $358,000. This was due to the payments that we made for instructional empowerment out of our teacher quality professional development funds. And our statewide voluntary preschool overspent by $488,000. This overspending was primarily due to the full-day program at Truman no longer being funded by ESSER. So in total, $1 million of our deficit is covered just in changes of categorical balances. Our unspent balance report, and this is slightly different than what's in the board packet due to the Iowa Department of Education releasing new numbers over the last several days. So our unspent authorized budget, or UAB, better known as unspent balance, decreased from $35.3 million to $34.8 million. This estimate is $459,000 higher than what appeared in your board packet, and that's because the Iowa Department of Education updated our miscellaneous income to include the educational support personnel salary supplement, which they had previously not included. Key components of our UAB are the highlighted amounts. The $1.7 million in yellow represents our English language learner SBRC supplemental amount for excess cost. And this modified supplemental amount, MSA, was approved by the board in November. The $3.7 million in blue is the SBRC allowable growth for one-time funding, and that was approved in December of last year. And that includes $413,000 for English learners above 5 years and $3.2 million for additional open enrolled out. And then the next yellow of $10.9 million is our FY25 special education deficit. The $28.2 million for other miscellaneous income and $240 million in expenditures come directly from our FY25 certified annual report, the CAR, that was completed in September of 2025. All the remaining figures are pre-populated by the Iowa Department of Management. This is our UAB insolvency history. The unspent authorized budget ratio for FY25 was 12.4%. Our annual maximum UAB used was 101%. As you know, we did overspend. Our current solvency ratio is 14.1%, and this calculation is determined by taking our unassigned fund balance, subtracting our AEA flow-through, and dividing the result by total revenue. The solvency ratio had grown significantly since FY20, though it declined in FY25 due to the deficit. But even with this decrease, the ratio remains within the recommended range. The metric is also considered in our Standards & Poor's credit rating, and it contributed to the district's maintaining its A+ rating in the most recent review in August of 2025. So now on to our other funds. The Student Activity Fund is a special revenue fund used to account for money in student-related activities like admission, fees, and fundraising. And these funds are used to support district-sponsored and supervised co-curricular and extracurricular activities such as athletics, band, choir, and plays. All the revenue generated is considered the property of the school district and subject to board control, with expenditures carefully regulated to ensure the funds are only used for appropriate activities. So there was a deficit of $75,000 in FY25. The management fund is used to cover insurance costs, insurance deductibles, early retirement incentive payments, and unemployment expenses. Our management fund balance increased from $16 million to $21 million. This growth will help offset the rising wind hail deductible associated with our property insurance. For FY26, the wind hail deductible for all of our district buildings in a catastrophic event, such as the derecho, would now exceed $8 million. In the summer of 2025, the district joined the Storm Protection Fund through EMC at a cost of $435,000. But we are still building our own reserve to help offset the deductible buy down. While the district did not participate in the equipment breakdown and maintenance insurance program in FY25, we are participating again in FY26 with premiums totaling $1.5 million. And SAVE, the Secure Advanced Vision for Education, or the statewide penny sales tax fund balance was $43 million. $5.2 million last fiscal year was being held in reserve for the previous SAVE bond issues. And our SAVE fund is used to fund facility improvements through bond proceeds and technology purchases of computers, hardwares, and software. Our physical plant and equipment levy, PEBBLE, fund is a combination of board and voter-approved property tax, and is used to pay for infrastructure and equipment. Funds are used for projects like construction and repairing school buildings, vehicles, and making safety and security upgrades. The district has approved a 10-year PEBBLE project list that was updated in the summer of 2024 going into fiscal year 2025. The fund balance in the debt service is a restricted carryover for future payments of our bond debt. The ending fund balance has been growing over the last 5 years due to additional debt being issued. And our nutrition fund historical summary shows a deficit of $6 million. That's a little deceiving because our employee benefits is overstated because of our net IPERS pension liability of $5.6 million compared to FY24, which was only $3.2 million. The deficit of $2.6 million includes the $2.5 million in change of IPERS pension liability. In FY25, the district consolidated all of our enterprise funds that support student activities into a single enterprise fund, Fund 68. This now includes our auto tech program, our school stores, and all of our greenhouse operations. Before that, our other enterprise funds for FY21 through FY24 was our child care account. Are there any questions? A lot of numbers really quick.
I have a couple questions or just
Yes.
clarification. So looking at the general fund, that teacher leadership number of 1.8 million, from what I understand, you can't carry forward that much balance. So we spent that on instructional empowerment.
Yeah, so if we carry forward more than 25% balance during the year, when we do our CAR in the fall, we get a error where we have to validate the amount. So we validate the amount and we tell the Iowa Department of Education why we're carrying such a large balance, and then they expect you to start spending down that balance. Yes. So
Okay.
teacher leadership, teacher quality, professional development, both of those funds, the Iowa Department of Education is watching for us to start spending those funds down.
Okay. And then just a couple other things for the public to be aware of. The homeschool overspending, so that we don't have enough students to cover those costs, right? So reducing that program.
Yes, and so we did reduce for FY26 by one teacher.
Okay. And then also if students start with us, but they go virtual, we still pay for them. Correct.
If
So-
students start with us, and even if they're on our October 1st count as a Cedar Rapids school student at any time of the year when they go virtual to any of the virtual schools, we have to pay for the days that those students are enrolled in the virtual school.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to clarify or just make a few of those things known. And then the other thing I was noting is, so we did have a pretty steep drop in enrollment. What were some of the projections that we were anticipating a decline? What was the anticipation or the projection based on the reality of the 622 that came through? You know,
On
how
the
does that compare?
622 for this year?
Yes.
We did not anticipate the 622. Most of our projections showed that we were going to lose about 400 students.
Okay.
So the 622 was rather high.
And can you clarify where those students at this time, can we share where those students have gone, or do we have an indication of where the majority of those students left to?
I don't have that. Adam, do you want to cover that now?
It
Do you
is
wanna
something
send
that
it
we could
out?
ask for a report
we could
to
have
the
a
board
separate-
on.
Yeah.
Cover it in depth at the work session on the 5th.
Okay.
And with specific numbers, we do have those numbers. I think it'd be better for you to see them.
Okay.
And be able to see
We'll see them, and I think that many people are interested in understanding what that breakdown looks like and where those students are going, so it would be good to offer that.
Yeah, just to say into the mic so everyone at home can hear. December 5th, we'll cover that in depth and have them broken out where the kids went specifically by district and school.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I love that the first board meeting you get is a 16-page financial report. I remember the day for me, the first time we saw this. So just to acknowledge that I think all of us are going to the statewide school board conference later on this week. School Finance 101 is one of my favorite sessions, as is 201 and 301 when you get there. And I also know that when I started on the board, we did have an opportunity to sit with our CFO. So once you come back, this stuff is overwhelming for just about everybody. So if you somehow retain all of this information, power to you. For most of us, that's not true. So just acknowledging that I do think that it's beneficial when you come back from the school board conference. They'll hand you a packet with your actual numbers. They'll talk about a lot of this stuff, and I think it will start to make more sense every day. And just to know that like the leaders that we've had in finance have been fantastic. And I do have the benefit of sitting on the Finance and Facilities Committee. So Scott, especially for you, if you nerd out on this stuff, as others might, the committee is here for us, so there's lots of opportunity to see this and to see some data. Carla, you had commented that the district ran a deficit, I think, in 2019 and 2020, and then we had some years we didn't run a deficit. But one thing that I want to acknowledge is that on the general fund historical summary spreadsheet that you share, it looks like that fund balance as a percentage of expenditures, 15% in 2021, and that's roughly the same in 2025. And then that fund balance as a percent, as a number of months to expend is virtually the same. So I think that's maybe just reinforcing.
ESSER about the same place that we went in, you know, and it really was the $52 million of ESSER funding that really carried the district forward. But then on the other side, we're right about at where we started.
And then just to be, and again, just calling this out because on the committee, I think we do talk about this, that the deficit that we're running, we have saved enough over the years to be able to do that. We just obviously cannot continue to do that at that pace. So that number is definitely something that I think we should all be concerned with and find ways to minimize, because at some point that number disappears, and we'll learn so much about solvency ratios and the importance of those. But I do appreciate you just kind of sharing this with us.
I have a couple.
Along with learning Finance 101, 201, 301, this week, new board members, another aspect of our activities in Des Moines will be legislative priorities. And a couple things that stand out from the numbers that Carla just went over. The full-day preschool, which this board has been advocating for several years, cost us approximately $500,000 to do that. And so when we go to Des Moines, or when you have a chance to advocate with your legislators, please bring up the fact that we know research tells us full-day, high-quality preschool pays off tremendous dividends, and it also cost us $500,000 to provide that. So we could ask the state to ante up a little bit more. In the same vein, we always seem to be running a special ed deficit. This time it looks like about $11 million. And again, that's a federal issue. The federal government has never funded the IDEA legislation at the full amount. So that's another advocacy opportunity for all of you. Call your senators, call your congressional representative. These are real impacts. $10 million is just, that's a lot of money, and we have to make that up. So just want to point out those opportunities coming up.
On that note, an extended piece. So our money that our district receives flows to the state, and we're coming off of a government shutdown, and the federal government decisions impact what happens at local levels. So I'm just curious, what does that look like? Do we have any concerns about funding being rolled back in other categories? Where do you stand with that right now?
Yeah, so most concerned about our title funding. There was, at the federal level, there was some concern that they were going to take some of our title funding away for this year, this 25-26. They did not. So we need to continue to advocate for that too. Our federal funding for our title programs, we need those dollars.
Director Tominski and I were in D.C. When the House Appropriations Committee was meeting, and they, at that point, and that's been several weeks ago, they had already decided a 15% cut to the Department of Education. So that filters down to us in one way or another. Again, an advocacy opportunity.
I think I know what somebody's going to do with their spare time.
Working on a plan.
And just because we're on our own island here, in our district, can you speak to, I'm sure you're in touch with other districts that are dealing with very similar situations, and I'm sure we're not alone in this, right? Can you maybe just speak to what that looks like elsewhere?
Yeah, I do have meetings with the UEN, and lots of concerns across UEN districts with declining enrollment, possible loss in funding, advocating for as much SSA as we can get. I was on the SAI legislative priorities, and typically they put in a percentage saying, we'd love to have 4%, we'd love to have 3%. This year, we didn't put in a percentage. We need to get as much as we can get. And for Cedar Rapids, depending on what SSA is, depends on whether we're on budget guarantee or not. So lots of districts talking about same and similar things and trying to navigate it all together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? To our new board members, Finance 101. I'm embarrassed to admit how many times I've repeated it. I might just repeat it again. But we're in for a week of learning together. So, all right. Before we adjourn, I want to provide a reminder that the next board meeting will be an off-site meeting at Grant Wood AEA on December 5th. Following that, we have a regular board meeting on December 8th, 2025. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. With no further business, we stand adjourned at 7:26 p.m.